Our lesson today is called solar eclipse. It's called solar eclipse. In the beginning of our lesson, I need to tell you something. Can you see this black area or dark area? We learned this before in grade 5. That we learned that light travels in a straight line. Light travels in a straight line. And if any dark object comes in the way of the light, shadow is formed. Again, light travels in a straight line. If any dark object comes in the way of the light, so the shadow is formed. So here in this picture, the light of the sun travels in a straight line. But when a dark object, like the tree, comes in the way of the sunlight, so the shadow of the tree is forming. The shadow of the tree is forming. So this dark area mean this is the shadow of the tree. Any problem in that? Okay. This is what exactly happened between the earth, the moon, the sun, when they are on one straight line. Again, this is what happens exactly between the earth and the sun and the moon when they are on one straight line and the moon in the middle. What will happen when the sun, the moon, the earth are on one straight line and the moon in the middle? Look with me at this picture. Here you can see the sun, the moon, the earth on one straight line. Again, the sun, the moon, the earth on one straight line. Which one in the middle? The moon in the middle. The moon in the middle. As we learned before, the light of the sun will pass or travel in a straight line. The light of the sun will pass or travel in a straight line. So it will pass in a straight line from the sun to the earth. But here we will find a dark object in the middle. So the dark object, which is the moon, will block sunlight from reaching the earth. Again, the light of the sun will travel in a straight line to the earth. But here we will find a dark object in the middle, which is the moon. So this dark object, which comes in the way of the sunlight, it will block sunlight or prevent sunlight from reaching this part of the earth. So this part of the earth, the sunlight will not reach here. So what we will find here, we will find shadow of the moon, as we learned like the tree. So the moon, dark object, come in the way of the sunlight, so the shadow of the moon will be formed on the earth. Shadow of the moon will be formed on the earth. But here the moon has two shadow area. It's only one shadow area? No, there are two shadow area. What are they? The first one, this one, the dark one. The dark shadow area. It's called umbra. It's called what? Umbra. The other one, this one, the faint area is called penumbra or semi-shadow area. Again, the shadow area or the shadow of the moon is formed on the earth. But the moon has two shadow area. One of them is called umbra. The other one is called penumbra. What is the umbra? Umbra is the shadow area of the moon. It is the darkest one. But the penumbra, it is the semi-shadow area of the moon. So what is the meaning of solar eclipse? Solar eclipse, it is astronomical phenomenon in which the earth, the moon, the sun are on one straight line, and the moon in the middle. Again, what is the meaning of solar eclipse? It is astronomical phenomenon in which the Earth, the Moon, the Sun are on one straight line and the Moon in the middle. The solar eclipse takes only 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Again, the solar eclipse takes only 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Although the solar eclipse phenomenon doesn't last more than 7 minutes and 40 seconds, but we can observe more than one type of solar eclipse, occurring during the moon's passage in front of the sun's disk and the part of the sun that it hides from the earth. So, give reason. The type of solar eclipse differs according to the movement of the moon in front of the sun. Why? Why the types of solar eclipse differed according to the movement of the moon in front of the sun? Why? Because the type of solar eclipse differed according to the part of the sun that the moon hides from what? From the earth. The part of the sun that the moon hides during its passage in front of the sun. So, look at this picture. As I told you before, this is the sun, the moon, the earth. Again, sun, moon, earth. They are on one straight line. They are on one straight line. And the moon in the middle. So, the moon will cast its shadow on the earth. So, the shadow of the moon will be formed on the earth in this area. The moon has two shadow areas, umbra and penumbra. Umbra is called shadow area, but penumbra is a semi-shadow area. Semi. Why it's semi? We have 3 types of solar eclipse. We have 3 types of solar eclipse. What are they? Total solar eclipse, annular solar eclipse, and partial solar eclipse. Again, we have 3 types of solar eclipse. According to what? According to the movement of the moon between the sun and the earth. So we have 3 types of solar eclipse: total solar eclipse, annular solar eclipse, and partial solar eclipse. Let's start with the total solar eclipse. This is the picture of the total solar eclipse. Here we can't see the sun completely because here is the moon. The moon blocks sunlight completely. So we can't see the sun. Why? Because in this case, the total solar eclipse is formed in the umbra of the moon, like that. So the total solar eclipse takes place here in this part, in the umbra. Again, so if we stand here or if we live here in this part of the earth, so in this place, total solar eclipse is formed and we can't see the sun completely. Okay? What about this part? What will happen if I live here? If I live in the penumbra, the semi-shadow area of the moon. If I live here, what will be formed here? The partial solar eclipse. So here, total solar eclipse. Here, partial solar eclipse. Here, we can't see the sun completely, but here, we can see part of the sun. We can see what? Part of the sun, like this picture. In the partial solar eclipse, I can see part of the sun. I can see part of the sun. And this type of solar eclipse takes place where? Takes place in the penumbra, of the moon. Okay, guys? What about the annular solar eclipse? Annular solar eclipse. In the annular solar eclipse, I can see the sun as a lighting ring. Again, in the annular solar eclipse, I can see the sun as a lighting ring. This happens when? This happens when the moon is in a higher orbit from the earth. Look at this picture again. So this is the moon here, right? But if this moon not here and it's in a higher orbit from the earth, so this means the annular solar eclipse will take place. This means the sun will appear as a lighting ring. So again, guys, again, we have three types of solar eclipse. We have three types of solar eclipse. Total solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, and annular solar eclipse. Total solar eclipse takes place in the shadow area umbra of the moon, and we can't see the sun completely, like this picture. Here, the partial solar eclipse. It takes place in the penumbra, in the semi-shadow area of the moon. And we can see only part. We can see only what? Part of the sun. The annular solar eclipse. We can see the sun as a lighting ring. And it takes place when the moon is in a higher orbit from the Earth. Do you think that we can look directly at the sun during the solar eclipse? Of course not. In the ordinary days, we can't look directly at the sun. Why? Because the sun emits harmful radiation like infrared rays and ultraviolet rays. Again, we can't look directly at the sun because the sun emits harmful radiation like infrared rays and ultraviolet rays. These rays are very dangerous for our eyes, especially the retina of the eye. Causing what? Because it can cause a blindness within few minutes. So, also during the solar eclipse, the outer corona of the sun, the outer corona of the sun is still emitting harmful radiation, is still emitting the infrared rays and ultraviolet rays. So it can cause blindness within few minutes. So we have to make what? We have to use special glasses. We have to use what? Special glasses to observe the solar eclipse. Again, we have to use special glasses to observe the solar eclipse to protect our eyes and our retina from the harmful radiation from the infrared rays and ultraviolet